Due to the nature of this case, which is the case of the state of Texas and the animal seizures against George Burgin, yesterday in a pretrial hearing, all parties agreed, the state of Texas and the lawyers representing George Burgin in this case, they all agreed to rule number 11 of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedures, that parties mutually agreed to waive the presentation of evidence and consent to the entry of evidence and the verdict of the Justice Court of Hopkins County of the finding of the cruelty to treatment under this statute. The parties also agreed that consent to the order in no way constitutes any waiver of rights, and it allows Mr. Burgin to move this matter into the Hopkins County Court at Law, and that if he perfects the appeal under section 821025 of the statute. So this morning I signed an order finding cruel treatment of the animals according to the court findings by the consent of the parties, that George Burgin is the owner of the subject cattle, and that the George Burgin has cruelly treated the subject cattle, and further orders that the public sale of these animals by auction to the percent of section 821.023 of the Health and Safety Code, and all costs provided by law is assessed against George Burgin. I also entered into it that the court hereby sets the bond necessary to perfect this appeal in the amount of $245,000. The Burgins in this case, Mr. Burgin in this case, has the right to appeal this up to the county court at law. By the statute, he has 10 days to appeal this. Once he has appealed it, he has 5 days to perfect it. After the 5th day, if everything is perfected, then the county court at law has 10 days to set a hearing on this case. To perfect it, as I said a while ago, there's a bond that has to be set for $245,000. Any questions?
In this, according to your order, if the appeal doesn't get filed, the animals will be sold. The proceeds from that sale go where?
Proceeds of that sale, if it is not appealed, if the appeal is not perfected, then the animals will be sold. All money that is due to the state and to Hopkins County will be paid first, and then after that, by law, any money that is left over will go to Mr. Burgin.
In the event the sale doesn't bring enough money to satisfy the expenses incurred by the county and the state, will Mr. Burgin be responsible for that?
There could be a judgment set out for the remaining amount, yes.
He's going to appeal this?
I don't know yet. The agreement is that by doing this, they have the opportunity to appeal it to the next court without presenting all the evidence in this 10-day by the Justice Court.
This has no effect on any criminal charges?
Has no effect on the criminal, has no effect on anything that's done in the seizure case, even in county court of law, has nothing to do with the criminal charges that are against Mr. Burgin, and it cannot be held against him.
In this, is there anything, or could there be anything that would address things to come in the future as far as the ownership or treatment of livestock?
That's something that has to be worked out, could be worked out in county court at law. That would have to be that, but in this one there is nothing that that can be done. There may be, there could be an agreement, there could be something that is drawn up, but at this time nothing is binding into that.
Mr. Burgin was represented by? His attorney.
His attorney. Yeah, I'm not going to call a name, but yeah, he was represented by an attorney. Yes.